Hey, welcome back to Gyms Near Me podcast. I'm Andrew. I'm the host today, and we dive into entrepreneurship, fatherhood, home gyms, family, and fitness with Cody Lutz. He's the founder of Backyard Shreds. It's going to be a company that takes the home gym community by storm, and I'm excited for you guys to get so much out of this episode. Remember to like and follow us, subscribe to the podcast, and reach out when you're ready to start your microgym journey. Appreciate y'all. All right, welcome back to the Gyms Near Me podcast. Super stoked to have Cody Lutz here. Cody, let's just dive right in, man. Tell us about yourself.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
So I'm Cody. I run Backyard Shreds. It's very, very new. We're just getting started in 2024 at the beginning of this year. And I'm a dad. I'm a husband to my bride, Lucy. I've got 3 kiddos, 4 and under. So we are just full out right now in this season of life. That's one of the reasons, honestly, I'm so passionate about home gyms, is because life is full and having an opportunity to work out where it fits in with the rest of the fullness of life is one of the biggest things. And the opportunity to even not have my fitness take time away from my family, but incorporate them into what I'm doing with trying to stay strong and build a strong family. So that was really like the impetus of what we are doing with Backyard Shreds and where that was born. But Backyard Shreds, I help people build epic home gym sheds like the one I'm in right now. And
Yes,
I
sir.
built this. Yeah, I built this by hand myself. I mean, I use tools, but I built it myself. It's karate chop those boards. I built this myself last summer, long before Backyard Shreds was ever an idea or conceived, but I wanted a space to work out. I didn't have a garage like many of the garage gym folks out there. You're in your garage this morning.
Sure.
So I didn't have that luxury. Kind of a tight space in the house. The real estate market's changing. We kind of thought we'd be in this house for a short time and move somewhere else, but right now with a sub 3% mortgage rate and with the things that have changed in the housing market these days
before we see that again.
Yeah, this is a pretty good spot for us. And so I thought, how do I create some more space so I'm not lifting weights on the porch and I'm not lifting weights in the back bedroom. And so I built a home gym shed in my yard. It's a 12 by 20, so it's got plenty of space. I'm finishing it out. I've got electricity in here, and I've got some insulation that I'm working on putting in. And eventually the goal is to do drywall and kind of finish it out in a AC and make it a finished space that I'll actually have a home office on one end and home gym in the other.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, yeah. So it's multifunctional. Got some storage space in here as well. But that was the idea. That's what I built for myself, born out of my passion to serve my family and build a stronger family. But also born out of a need that I had. And when I started posting about this and what I was doing and lifting and growing out here in my home gym shed, this beginning of this year in 2024, other people online were like, dude, that's amazing. I would love to do something like that. That's exactly what I need. And the idea was born for Backyard Shreds. How can I help other people do the same thing that I'm doing? Because I love it. It's awesome. It's awesome having a home gym, as you know, and a home gym shed for many people that don't have other options for home gyms.
Yeah, 100%. I remember chatting, I don't know, maybe it was 2 weeks ago. You told me a story about how the idea of Backyard Shreds came to be. Can you unpack that story for us? I think it's great.
Yeah, that is a funny story, Andrew. Backyard Shreds is an accident in the funniest way. Backyard Shreds, my entire company is just a typo, basically. I was texting a buddy of mine about lifting, and he was in the Army. Now he's in the Army Reserves, and we work out together. He goes to my church, and just great brother. And I was texting him, and we were texting about workouts and stuff. And he said, "Yeah, man, how's it going working out there, working out in the shred?" And I was like, "Dude, that's hilarious. The shred. I'm gonna start calling it the shred from now on instead of the shed." And he never texted me back. And I posted about this like that week on LinkedIn as I was doing like a fitness challenge on social media that I was posting about. And so I did this post about the shred and how I'm going to like start calling it the shred and how I thought that was cool. And then this guy, and this is why I love like LinkedIn and social media in general.
Great tool.
I think there's a lot of ills, a lot of perils on social media in general. And I think everyone likes to talk about kind of how social media is bad for society and everybody's trying to impress each other. And, you know, all of those things are true, but I think it's a tool and you get out of it what you put into it. And I think it is a tool that still can be redeemed and used for really great purposes. And my experience has been that, especially on LinkedIn these days. I do a lot on LinkedIn. So if anybody's watching this and want to connect with me on LinkedIn, I'm super active there and love meeting new people. That's how Andrew and I connected, actually.
That's right.
On LinkedIn.
Yep.
But I posted this on LinkedIn, and this guy that I'm friends with on LinkedIn, never met him in person. He lives in like Nashville, I think. And shout out, buddy, if you're watching this. But he was in Nashville, and he sent me a DM, and he said, "Bro, backyard shreds. Think of it. What a cool business idea. What a cool brand name." And he was thinking kind of a little bit differently as far as like what the business would be than what I ended up taking it as. But it got the wheels turning for me, and I was like, dude, that is pretty cool.
Yes.
And
dude, when I saw it first time, you post about first time, I was like, yes, this is the way. Man. Yes.
Yeah. It's sticky, it's edgy, it's cool. I think it fits right in with the niche of what we're doing. So, and it's easy enough to kind of build a brand and logo and kind of the whole brand experience around, which is what I aspire to do. And so I was like, dude, that is a cool idea. And then he said this. He said, he sent me a link to GoDaddy, and he was like, the URL is available, the domain is available, go buy it, backyardshreds.com. And then he sent me a link to, what is it, like the Library of Congress or the government trademark site, and he said, go trademark the name right now. And it was that conversation that got the ball rolling with a guy that I never met before in real life, that I have never even heard his voice. And it sparked something in me. And I had been in a place, and we talked about this before, Andrew, where I had been very interested in starting businesses and kind of just very enamored with the idea of entrepreneurship for a long time. I had tried some smaller things that just wasn't the right season and wasn't the right thing. And ultimately I didn't commit to it. And so I was already in a position where I was like, okay, I want to start a business this year. And I knew that I wanted to start a business. And so that spark landed right on, dry tinder, so to speak, and just kind of exploded into an idea. And for the next, however many months, I've just been, diving into creating a brand and building out a product and connecting with the people that can help me build this thing.
So tell us about Backyard Shreds.
Yeah. So the idea is, and the core product, like I said before, I help people build epic home gym sheds. And so what that means is that I don't actually like show up with my hammer and my saw, but the reason why I built my own, and this gets into what I'm doing with Backyard Shreds, is the reason I built my own shed as compared to buying a pre-built shed, which is probably the easiest option, or even using like a kit or something like that, was because I wanted it to be a home gym. And so I had specific kind of requirements for what I wanted to do out here in this space. And I know I wanted to make sure that it was going to meet those requirements. And one of the biggest things is I wanted to make sure that the floor is strong enough that if I'm deadlifting and dropping weights occasionally, I'm not like, I don't go crazy, but sometimes like if you're hitting a PR or whatever, things slip or you just gotta let it go. That's the safest option. We know all that stuff. We do that in the home gyms, and we lift, and we know what that entails. So, but you're lifting heavy, you gotta have a good foundation. And most of like if you go to Home Depot and you look at like the Tough Shed or whatever their brand is that they sell of those pre-built sheds, they are built as cheaply as possible. They're not meant for deadlifts. They're meant for storing your rake and your push mower. And then another thing is like a lot of those have really small, like short sidewalls, and I wanted like lots of space. I'm a big dude. I'm 6'3", and I don't want to like have to sit down to do overhead stuff. I want to move.
Yep.
And so I wanted plenty of space that I could lift stuff overhead and not worry about it, and do pull-ups and muscle-ups and all that kind of stuff. And so I had very specific design requirements for the space, for the strength, all of that engineering. And so I spent months and months and months like researching. And even another thing is, if you look at, so you can buy like a cheap shed, and they're cheap and they're built cheaply. And then you could buy a nice shed that's probably built better quality, but still maybe not strong enough for what you want to do on the floor side of things. And they're wicked expensive.
Yes.
I mean, they're not cheap to get one delivered for what you get. And so I started first by just pricing it out and kind of running some basic numbers of like, okay, I could buy this thing for like 13 grand and have it delivered, or I could build it for like 4 grand.
Yes.
And I mean, there's just the price disparity is huge. It's actually really economic to just buy the materials and build it. And the skills required, I'm like, okay, I've built a chicken coop. That's the biggest thing I've ever built is a chicken coop. But I think I could learn like the basics, and it actually wasn't that complicated. The thing that was the most complicated was trying to draw the plans for this. So I actually ended up drawing my own plans. I did a ton of research on like making sure everything was strong enough, and ratings and stuff like that. And I spent months and months, drew my own plans and built it. And that was the thing that probably I was the biggest learning curve, so to speak, was just all of that research. And so when other people started saying, hey, I would love to build a home gym shed, a shed would be perfect for my space. I'm working out in the basement right now, and I'm basically in a dungeon, and the ceilings are low, and I have to like do pull-ups like this, and and not hit my head, and or I need my garage for other things, or maybe I don't have a garage if you're in that space like me. And so I was like, okay, I could help people build. Again, I think a lot of people spend a lot of money on like home gyms. Like everybody's kind of in different places economically. And so some people, I totally understand why it makes a lot more sense to just buy something and have somebody else build it. But if you're kind of interested, you're kind of like me, and you're kind of like handy, and you're like, I've never done it, but I bet I could figure it out. And it'd be a good excuse to buy some cool tools, and it'd be a fun project to do. And man, you can save tons of money. And then, I mean, shoot, if you're going to say, hey, our budget's 13,000, you can build it for 13,000, or you can build it for 4,000 and put, $9,000 worth of really nice equipment in there. Right. Or AC or whatever you want to do, and making it really nice. So that was kind of my goal in building it. And to help other people, I was like, well, if we could get some building plans, because I mean, there are tons. This is the thing too, Andrew, is there are tons and tons of shed building plans online. And I looked at a bunch of them. I mean, and even as I've been drawing out our plans for backyard shreds, I've downloaded a gajillion shed plans. And again, I didn't have confidence that they were what I needed, that the floor was going to be strong enough, the space was going to be enough, all the different requirements. And so, and even like there's a wide discrepancy between one plan to the next as far as how helpful it is, as far as the instructions and stuff. And if you're kind of new to construction, you might not know what you're looking at if you buy some of these plans. Some of the free ones especially are especially terrible. And so rather than having people just go buy 5 sets of $20 plans before they find the right one, I was like, if I could make the thing that I needed last year that I didn't have, so I spent months of my time finding this information, I could basically compact months of research into one download that someone could download and know exactly what they need, exactly how to build it, know that it's exactly what they need for a home gym. It's strong enough, it's got enough space, even have like some floor layouts that show like how you can fit different equipment in different size sheds, so you know what you need to buy and build, a whole material list that you can just go shop, like download it and go shopping that weekend and and literally start in a weekend, and have everything you need. That would be the goal. And so that's what we're working on. Still working with an architect. We just made some final tweaks to the plans. We're putting together kind of the whole thing and hope to get it on the website hopefully soon. We want to get it out this summer so that people can start building.
Yeah. Tell us about what stage in your business journey you are. So it sounds like you're sort of pre-product, or you
Yep.
haven't released your product yet. So talk to us about the stage that you're in, what it took you to get to where you are now, and a little bit more, if you can unpack a little bit more about some of the things that we could expect from Backyard Shreds in the near to midterm future.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, we're kind of pre-product right now. That's a great way of describing it. I've got like t-shirts and like these gym flags and cool stuff like that on the website. You know, I figured, hey, I'll get some merch up there real quick if anybody's interested. I know I am, so I'm just going to get some stuff. Build, lift, grow is kind of our motto. And so that's sort of the ethos behind everything that I'm trying to build here. And so right now, while I'm building out the product, because I had to find the right architect and engineer to work on the plans to make sure that they're exactly what we need and that they're the absolute best plans out there on the internet. And while he was, so we had meetings there and we were talking about how the design was going to work and make it basically as strong as possible, also easy to build as possible. Like the design's very simple, but it looks cool, but it's not too complicated to actually build for people that maybe don't have that much experience. So we're working through all of that. And in the meantime, I'm just basically building a brand, building social media. YouTube is basically, as far as what's to come, YouTube's my main focus for the year, is building a lot of content on YouTube. I like to talk, if you can't tell. And so that's probably a great platform for me. I plan on making some content there, kind of both informational about particularly the construction part of the home gym sheds, hoping to do a build series where we kind of actually build one of these designs that we've that we're working on and show people what that looks like kind of through the phases of construction, and then also kind of aspirational or inspirational content. Again, it's all, you know, you go back to that conversation I had with my friend on LinkedIn, and the thing that he offered me was not new information that I didn't already have. The thing that he offered me was the encouragement, the inspiration, the belief that I could do something with that idea. And I already had ideas of, as soon as he said Backyard Shreds, that could be a cool business, I already had an idea of what that could look like. I had actually already kind of thought through a business model, and it was all hypothetical. And so what he gave me in that moment, that was probably the most valuable thing of anything so far in this business entrepreneurial journey that I'm on this year, Andrew, was the belief, the encouragement, the inspiration that, hey, you should, not only could you go for it, yes, you could, but you should. You should go for it. It would be great. It will be great. And you're going to go do it. Go do it. Why not? And that flipped a switch in me. And so not only do I want to give people, you know, who maybe are interested in building a home gym, interested in taking over, you know, maybe fitness in general is something that they are trying to get into. They know that they need to take control of their health. Maybe they realize they've been in fitness for a long time, and they realize that it's taking them away from their family, and their kids are growing up faster than they realize, and they realize that life is short, and that's their biggest priority should be their family, you know, and they realize that, hey, a home gym, rather than spending hours a week doing my workouts by myself in the public gym, a home gym would allow me to kind of check both of those boxes. That's kind of my heart, you know?
Yeah, and it does.
And so maybe there's people like that, and they probably already have the information they need. Now, maybe not to actually build a shed like the one I'm in. So that's the information part that I want to give them, and just bundle that up and give that to them. But also the inspiration to actually take action on the thing that they know that they should do, that they just haven't done yet. And that's like a big motto of mine this year, is turning wish into I will.
Mhm.
Just every time I see myself saying, I wish, I wish, I wish. There are a lot of things in it. Like I said, at the beginning of this year, I was in this place where I heard the word, I think it was for Alex Hormozy. I think I heard the word entrepreneur
Yes.
of basically
I've
somebody
heard,
who,
I'm pretty sure that is, or at least I heard it from him too.
yeah, probably, I don't know if he coined the term, but I think that's where I heard it. Entrepreneur, somebody who, has all these ideas and loves the idea, like fantasizes about starting something, but they haven't actually done it. And I think there's so many people out there like that. Maybe it's not entrepreneurship, maybe it is. But all the things I just mentioned, that they say, I wish, and if they could just stop saying, I wish, and if it's really that meaningful, that you truly wish that it would come true, then don't say, I wish. Say,
Mhm.
I will. I will action.
Right.
And so now it's like, whether it's the business right now for me, or fitness, or my walk with the Lord, all the different things that are important to me in life, my relationship with my kids, with my wife. Every time I'm building that muscle of action.
Mhm.
That every time I recognize that little I wish in my mind, I stop it and say, wait a minute,
Mhm.
what is the action that would actually move me towards that becoming a reality? And then say, I will do that thing.
Yeah.
So that's a big that's a big part of the message of Backyard Shreds as well.
What a wonderful message, man. And even for me, one of the things that I think most entrepreneurs, I'm going to use the word struggle for lack of a better word, is balance. Clearly, uh, most people that start micro gyms or home gym, or home gym businesses in the home gym space have full-time jobs
Yep.
and do have families.
Yep.
So where are you finding the balance in actioning, this dream you have in Backyard Shreds and your full-time family life?
It's such a good question, Andrew. It's so true. It's so true. I'm working with a coach, and I am a big believer in coaches. I think, having somebody outside of you that can provide accountability and ask you good questions and change the way that you think is extremely valuable. So I'm working with a guy named Bobby Doyle. He's an exceptional, extraordinary brother. Uh, he helps people be extraordinary, and I love the guy to death. He's been amazing, just rocket fuel on my journey, my growth, my business, everything. So one of the things that my coach Bobby said to me recently, and this isn't necessarily his idea, but he just reminded me of this concept of build the life that you want to live.
Mhm.
And talking with the friend of mine who is the architect who's working on the plans, he sent me an email last night, and he basically said the same thing. He runs his own business as an architect, and he said, listen, Cody, you're on the front end of this building a business. He said, and you're building a business because you want to spend more, you want to have more freedom someday, and you want to spend more time with your family. That's a priority. Like, that's probably the biggest why that I can think of for building my own thing. So I can make my own schedule, I can choose my own priorities, and family is a big part of that. He said, don't just make that the goal. Like someday I'm going to be I'm going to spend more time with my family. Meanwhile, I'm neglecting my family and discipleship and training my kids and encouraging my wife and building those relationships so that they're getting stronger every day and pouring into them. So that's something that's been big on my heart, is to build the life now that I want to live, not just so that someday I can get there, and once I've gotten there, the opportunity is not there anymore.
Mhm.
And so even if that means I have to slow down a little bit, because I'm full drive, full speed ahead kind of person, like especially when I'm excited about something, right? And like I think most of the people who really are interested in business and like interested in entrepreneurship probably are that type of person to some degree.
Mhm.
But what has really helped is to sit down and say, what is the most important thing to me in life, and what I want life to look like? And sit down. If you're married, sit down with your wife. Like that's what I've been doing, is like talking with Lucy every night, my bride Lucy, and saying, what do we want life to look like someday? and what do we want life to look like right now? And yes, there are sacrifices, but to make, as long as you know like what you want life to look like, and you sacrifice the things that aren't part of that vision, not the things that are part of that vision, then once you have clear, if you don't know what's important, then you're not going to make good decisions, right? You're going to prioritize everything. If everything's a priority, nothing is. And so I think that is the biggest thing, is to sit down and think through what I want life to look like, not just in the future, but build that into my life right now. For example, one of the things I'm most excited and passionate about is like coaching and encouraging people, especially folks in their younger 20s, maybe, who are where I was and needed some help back then. And so one of the things, that I'm kind of doing right now to kind of build the business is trying to seek out like an intern that I'm trying to bootstrap this thing. I don't have tons of money, so I'm not going to like pay an employer or something like that. But if I can do kind of an exchange of value with a contractor or intern, kind of younger person who can help me do some different aspects of things I need help with building the business that maybe I'm not particularly great at, but what I can give them in return, not just the experience, but also I can do some coaching and inspire and encourage them. Like, someday I would love to do that and like teach other people and inspire other people to build businesses. Once I kind of get the business chops in myself and learn that path. But I'm like, I don't have to wait for that either. There's lots of people out there that would love to learn from what I know so far. And like you said, there's lots of people out there building home gyms, building micro gyms that are trying to turn that into a business. And they probably think that they have this someday view of like, someday I'll know enough, someday I'll have enough to offer, when they don't realize like whether they're personal trainers or not, the experience that they have in putting the right equipment together in a space that's functional, or teaching other people how to lift safely and how to hit their goals. Like, they probably already have enough that what they have is really valuable to someone. They just need to take action and start a business, right? Start a micro gym. That's why I love the partnership kind of idea, or not necessarily partnership, but I love the overlap, let's say, of
I'm all about partnership, brother. Yeah.
Bro, absolutely. The overlap and the friendship, the partnership between Backyard Shreds and Go RX, people building home gyms and then, turning them into micro gyms. I think there's all the resources out there between Andrew and his team to go help you guys, help the listeners of this podcast, like build a micro gym business. Like, there's no reason not to, except for just the fear of what if, and what does that look like, and doing something new.
Yeah, man, there's a lot that we can unpack from all that, and I'm so grateful for you, going into it, going deep into it, and sharing all that. Like I said, there's so much to unpack there. I think I'd like to circle back to this internship conversation.
Yeah.
I'm going to lovingly challenge you. You said someday maybe you'll bring on an intern, and I'm going to say you don't have to wait. There's a vehicle that you can make that happen, and the best way to do it is through the DoD Skill Bridge program.
That's right.
There's a few steps that you can take. You can find someone, and you can get them rocking and rolling in a few weeks to a couple of months. Would love to unpack that with you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be here in podcast.
Yeah.
But that is, you can offer, this is what's wonderful about SkillBridge. And there's many things. You can offer a transitioning service member who can be young or older. We've got 9 or 10 interns on our team now. From younger soldiers, E4, E5. So we're talking special sergeant types, to 26 years and just retired. And you're offering them an opportunity to bridge a skills gap that exists. And you're also offering an opportunity for them to learn new skill sets, to test new waters, and to navigate a very challenging, for some, transition in life.
Yeah.
I served 12 years in the U.S. Army. I Am still in a lot of ways transitioning out. I got out in October 2022, and in a lot of ways, I'm still finding my way, into the civilian work and experience. So I went on a little tangent there, and I
Yeah, I
want to
love
get
it.
back to the
I love it.
the heart of my encouragement to you is, let's sit down and talk, because there's a service member you can help now that someday won't have that opportunity. Anyway, man, another question I want to get back to, and we can table that for another day. We don't need to unpack that now. But another thing I
Sure.
want to get back to is, when we're building brands, one of the key things, and we tell this to every micro gym owner that we talk to, every lead, everyone that's exploring this, is, who is your ideal client?
Yep.
Who is your avatar? What problems do they have that you aim to solve? Right. And
Yep.
then you build your company and your brand around that. So tell us, who is Backyard Shreds for?
Yeah. Backyard Shreds is for guys kind of like me, I've talked a lot about fatherhood, being a dad, being a husband. I work a regular job. I got a W-2, I have a home with a little bit of land, a little bit of space, and I'm just an average Joe, kind of a regular guy, and I want to get strong. I'm in my 30s right now, and I want to, carry as much momentum into the years ahead as I can, physically speaking, in terms of strength and muscle mass and all the things that, we care about. But maybe there's people that are further ahead of me that would still benefit. The home gym community is much broader than younger folks, but it's probably folks that you're a little bit further ahead in life. You've got a home that you could actually build a shed at, and your time is in more demand than ever, and your resources are limited, and you want to spend them well. Your financial resources are limited.
Mm-hmm.
Gym equipment is not cheap. You may not be able to go buy a bigger house right now, or whatever the case may be, and you still want to work out, and you still want to prioritize your time as well. Like I said, to spend time with your family. And so I think the shed, to me, that you can build for a few $1,000s in a few weeks, really, and have a space that's incredibly functional, dedicated to where you can get a good workout in, and there's no distractions. There's no, junk and tools and whatever piled up in the corner. Like, this is just the gym.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I come and I open this door. It's right next to my house, so it's at my house. But at the same time, it's dedicated. And so I open the door, I shut the door, and I'm in here, and I'm in go mode, baby. And so to provide that to people like me who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, maybe, who have a home and they're trying to be fit, and they're trying to steward their time and steward their relationships with their family. And that's who I'm trying to help.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem I'm trying to solve.
No, man, that's so. I think there are a lot of people out there like that, and I think there are a lot of people that are looking for opportunities, permission. They're looking for encouragement and someone to tell them that to just do it and send it. And I think that is one of the deeper issues that generally we all struggle with, is the doubt, the disbelief that we're capable of pursuing. And I think of myself, when you describe that person, that's me. Like, you're describing me right now. And
which is why we instantly connected, man.
Yes.
Just such a strong connection there.
Yeah,
Love it.
absolutely. I am handy, but lacked a ton of experience.
Yeah.
And so I think this is sort of circling back to a much earlier conversation about, I'm going to go a little more lighthearted. When I open like an IKEA or some page or manual,
Yeah.
I can immediately be like, what the heck am I doing? Like, what
Yeah.
am I doing here?
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about that, that plan, the paper. What am I looking at when I open up your plans? And how are you going to help a dude like me who can get overwhelmed by looking at,
Yeah.
manuals or instructions on how to build something?
Yeah. So it's a familiar feeling.
Yeah.
I think I would guess, tell me if this resonates with you, Andrew. That's true. All the things that you just said, but there's this other piece that probably is also true, where you're the type of guy that goes, I don't know how, but I think I can figure it out.
Yes, I would say that resonates with me. Yeah.
And so it's the goal with these building plans is to help the people who have the I don't know how, but I bet I can figure it out, and bridge the gap between that and actually getting it done.
Let's go.
Right?
I love that.
Reduce
Yeah.
the time and reduce the friction.
I love that.
What took me an entire summer of research, the goal is to make that just a step-by-step page. I mean, it's going to be multiple pages, but a step-by-step guide to walk you through that. And not just like, what tools do I need? How do I do each different step, and how do I make sure that what do I cut how long the boards need to be? What size nails do I use? And that's one of the things too, is like a lot of building plans out there, they just kind of, they're a lot of them are made for people who are builders. And they're just kind of like very loose schematics of, here's how tall it is, and here's where the doors are, and like here's how to like, here's the floor framing, and like go. And maybe that's helpful. I'm toying around. I haven't fully finished the product yet, the plans, but I'm toying around with basically having kind of two versions every time you buy one of our plans, where you get like the short version and the long version. So I don't want to waste your time. If you know all that stuff, you're like, hey, just give me the plan. I love your plan. I love what it looks like. And that's what I want to build. It's strong. It's sexy. Because they are sexy, man. The actual designs, they look pretty sick.
Yes. Yes.
You can actually see a 3D render of what one of the buildings look like on backyardshreds.com. But so for the person that wants to build it and they know how to build it, have like the real short, just everything you need if you already have the building skills. And if not, if you're like me and you've never built anything bigger than a chicken coop, then here's what tools you need. Here's exactly each step by step with pictures, measurements, everything like that to walk you through it.
That's great.
One of the things that's kind of cool that I'm planning on including in this bundle as well is not just a material list of here's the things you buy, but actually a pricing calculator that'll help you know exactly how much to budget for each section of the build and then build by entirely.
I was literally thinking that. Thinking that's a great idea. I love that you're leaning in on that.
Okay, so you just put a few prices in of like what materials cost in your area, and we'll tell you, here's pretty close to what you're going to look at paying for your entire project. So you can know it's not just a building resource, it's a planning resource.
Yes. That's fantastic. I love that idea. And you're doing that all through the website? Which hosting service are you using? These are questions that people like to ask us hey, I want to start a website. What hosting service should I use?
So I've actually built two websites now. I have a website for my photography business, Cody Lutz Media, and I host that through Squarespace. And I really love Squarespace, their design, like their web designer. I found that to be much more enjoyable than Backyard Shreds website, which I'm hosting through Shopify. The reason why I went with Shopify the second time around for Backyard Shreds website is my understanding, doing some research, that they have some of the best SEO and like plugins with other platforms for e-commerce, which is what I'm doing. I'm selling a digital download, right? So it's an e-commerce model is what I'm building. So Shopify kind of has the corner market on e-commerce platforms. So they integrate really well with YouTube. They have like a cool like buy feature that pops up on YouTube videos. If you've ever seen that, that's Shopify's tool that integrates with YouTube. YouTube's my main focus this year. Still kind of working through plans and content, writing out content for that I'm starting to shoot here. But
love it.
So that was the decision behind the website.
That's good. That's insightful, man.
And there's other websites out there too, like
Oh, there's
Etsy,
so
and
many.
depending on depending on what you want to sell, and there's other types of platforms. But I figured I would rather kind of own the platform, and have it integrate tightly with the tools and the platforms, other socials and stuff that I'm going to be using.
Yeah. It can be even overwhelming when it comes to building your website at that point. We find that, we're trying to build in our own product. We're trying to build a product where you don't need a website. I mean, it will help in lead gen. There's clearly functionality that our app doesn't support that you might want as a trainer. But ultimately we're trying to alleviate that burden, and that, because when you start a business, there's going to be a lot of skill sets that you probably don't have, that you, especially if your first one, that you probably don't have, and you may not want to lean into.
Yeah.
And so, and for starting a microgym, there are so many steps that can seem overwhelming when you look at it from a 30,000 foot view.
Yeah.
And so one of our main goals is to, and we are building out processes and playbooks for the people that are interested in starting a microgym and platforming on GoRx. And just an example of what that might be is, how do I get my HOA to approve a building plan or my home business? And so we've been successful in helping people navigate that. We've got a few people that are using some of our playbooks. We customize these playbooks for them. Like, okay, this is your HOA. This is your situation.
Nice.
Here's a step. Here's a personalized playbook for you to overcome that hurdle. And so we're trying to build the processes around that. And then you get to the website and the social media, and people are like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing, man. And it's like, okay, well, we're all learning.
Yeah.
First of all.
Yeah.
And second of all, you're going to figure it out. Right. And you're not alone.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing that's encouraged me the most this year too, is like, look, everything that you know now that's easy for you right now, there was a point in time where you didn't know how to do any of that stuff either.
Right.
Which means that everything that you don't know, that you need to know to get where you want to go, that feels really hard and intimidating, you're just on the opposite side of learning right now, that once you get over that, you're going to learn it.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be easy.
Yeah.
It'll just be like walking and talking all the things that my 2-year-old can't do, that my 1-year-old can't do, but I take for granted now because I've been doing it for so long,
Yeah. And was it
life,
this
man.
morning you posted that? Was it this morning you posted that quote on LinkedIn? Something about the biggest mistake you can make is not learning.
Yeah, man. Yeah. If you fail, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. And the failure is only a waste. It's not a waste of time. It's not a waste of money. It's just learning. People pay to learn all the time. People pay to learn, they pay people to teach them. Well, failure is the best teacher there is. So if you pay to fail, right, which is probably what you're doing if you're starting a business, you're going to spend money on stuff. You're going to spend time on stuff and go, well, that didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's only a waste of time. It's only a waste of money if you luse the lesson and you fail to learn.
I agree. And I loved when I saw that this morning. I got the phrasing clearly wrong, but I think about the start of my own journey with GoRx. I was stationed it was Fort Bragg then, it's Fort Liberty now. And I said 5 years. I'll give myself 5 years, and whatever I need to invest in time and money at the 5-year mark, I will sit down and I'll assess where it's at. And I've spent tens of thousands of dollars from my personal checks to make this company, to make this realize this dream, put it that way.
Yeah.
And I have told myself and others that at 5 years, if we decide now, because it's a pretty large team, there's 19 of us now. If it boils down to Trevor and I, if we decide that we're going to hang up, or turn off the lights, it will have been the best education I could have paid for. It will have been a master's in the school of grit, resiliency. And we could just go off with tons of adjectives here to describe what this school would be. Cody, I'm going to start wrapping up the call here, man. I'm so grateful you decided to join us or join me this morning. It's 8:53 in the morning at the time of recording. Where can people find you? Where can people connect with you? There are builders, home gym builders out there that might want to get connected.
Let's go.
I will connect you with them in the very near future. Where can they find you?
Yeah, I'd love to work out some partnerships with people that, can make this a reality for people that maybe don't want to build their own plan, but they like what we're doing here at Backyard Shreds.
Yep.
So I'm super active on LinkedIn. Like I said, probably of all the social platforms, I'm the most active on LinkedIn. But all the social platforms I'm on, let's say I'm on most of the social platforms. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn's my jam. And I'm starting YouTube. I've got a couple of small videos up there, more to come there if you're interested in following along with this journey. Particularly on LinkedIn, I post on my personal page. I post a lot of like leadership and entrepreneurship type of stuff that I'm learning, as I'm also sharing on the Backyard Shreds page about the actual, what we're doing and the inspiration and the information, helping people build home gym sheds on the Backyard Shreds business page. So LinkedIn, if you are interested in the entrepreneurial side of things, not just the home gym side of things, hit me up there and we can grow together and share the journey. If people listening to this, I know a lot of folks, Andrew, are entrepreneurs, let's say, that are interested in starting that journey but don't know what the next steps to take are. Obviously, they can talk to your team. Your team is super helpful and getting people going. I'd love to meet them and share that journey with them as well. And the website is backyardshreds.com. That's it. That's where those building plans are. And by the way, when we do launch those, I don't have a firm date yet, but it's going to be this summer. When we launch those building plans, they're going to be the most discounted they're ever going to be. We're going to run the biggest blowout special to kick things off and get started. Because we're ready to go.
Let's go.
And so if people want to take advantage of that, there actually is a wait list on the website right now. At the top of the page, you just go to backyardshreds.com and put in your email. That way you don't miss out on that best deal we're ever going to have on the website on those building plans.
That's awesome. We'll share all those links. So if you want to grab those or jump on that wait list and you're listening to this podcast, the links will be in the description on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Cody, thanks for joining today, man. I'm excited to continue this conversation in the future. Thanks, brother.
Likewise, dude. This has been a great conversation. Love you guys and what you're doing. Keep going.